But I think you need someone who makes you a better person. And for those that are listening who haven't found that soulmate or that person that you want to be with or spend time with, like, don't rush it. Try to send it out there because you want someone who's going to come in and just make you feel good about yourself and make you feel smarter and stronger and have your back and make you a better person.
Hey, it's a beautiful Monday. We're coming from Bring It On Studios. This is Jennifer. I'm here with my gal pals, Darian and Farley, and we are coming off a really big week. We came off the Super Bowl this past weekend. There's a lot happening in the news, but let's just stick with the Super Bowl for a little bit. Holy moly, was that a feast for the senses, or was it really? I got to be honest, a little unimpressed.
It was a snooze fest. I thought it was boring as hell. I didn't even really watch it.
No, you didn't. Well, Mahomes, he dropped the ball. Womp womp, no pun intended. Because think about it. If Kansas City won, he would have been the greatest quarterback dynasty of all time. And now, womp, not going to happen until it comes again.
Better than Tom Brady.
They are all comparing it. That's what we're comparing it. No you way. Go to all the ESPN, you go to all the sports. They're like, it's a dynasty. And I'm like, no, he's not. Tom Brady's a god. So when I was listening to Mad Dog Sports this morning, they were saying that, and I was like, I totally disagree. And the game right out of
coach, maybe that's because of the coach too. I mean, the coach has got a whole bunch of winning things under his belt, I think. But I mean,
well, the defense
was it third year in a row? Is that why? Did Brady not do that?
I mean, Brady went to 10 Super Bowls and won 7 of them. So,
but it's because of the three-peat to do it 3 years in a row. I mean, literally, when the Eagles came out, the defense just steamrolled Kansas City. They wanted to win right out of the gate. But aside from the game, which I really thought was funny, was the beatdown that Taylor Swift got from all the crowd when they were booing her when they went to the Jumbotron.
No rings for Taylor or Travis Kelce. Sorry.
Yeah, but what was really cool
going to propose to her after if they won?
What the hell knows?
I mean, like, that's almost like Hillary Clinton having Lady Gaga to perform when she won the presidential campaign.
Well, Lady Gaga was tremendous on Bourbon Street in the pregame. She was there dressed in white. I mean, her look always changes from time to time, but just the vibe she had, it was a great kind of kickoff. And you're like, oh, this is going to just be an phenomenal game and show, because it's not just about the game, it's everything else that goes along with the Super Bowl.
I hated a lot of that show. Hated. Loathed.
Yeah,
that's like the only part that I kind of watched, and I was like, yuck. I felt like Mahomes was rushing things more than he normally does too. He had time. I don't understand. The second half I started watching, and I was like, why is he? The sacks, first of all, crushed him, but secondly, there were people open, and he was trying to run it. There were people open. I don't know why he was just not playing his game.
Well, I think it's hard. Listen, when you're at that level of sport and the expectations are that high, I'm not by any means a fan of Kansas City or Mahomes, but I can only imagine what it's like to be somebody who's expected
hard to win anything 3 times in a row.
3 times in a row, and have that pressure on you. And I don't envy it, but then again, this is the stage you're set. So yeah, you've got to perform, and I'm sure he's having a really, really tough Monday post Super Bowl from the performance, because I didn't expect it to be such a beatdown.
The spreads just got obliterated too from a gaming standpoint and betting. I mean, who the hell had 40-22?
Yeah, well, I did have 9. I think I did say the Eagles by 9, so I covered my spread.
Well, Vegas, the big bettors, the big time bettors won, who betted on the Eagles and different spreads, and the mom and pops. I don't know. Jeff was telling me all about it this morning. And I was like, well, only thing I want to know is, did you make some money? He said, yes, I made some money on some of the bets. I said, okay, well, that's all that matters, because we all like to win. But yeah, the defense, they came out swinging. And if you have defense out there that's shutting you down, that's why Mahomes had no shot. I mean, the defense I think they even got a touchdown. So it was a good game if you were an Eagles fan. On the other side, I loved watching the commercials and the whole entertainment part of it. And aside from the political halftime, I don't know. It's just another Super Bowl, and we didn't have a dog in the fight. So next.
I gotta be honest. I feel like the Super Bowl ads are $8 million. I'm sorry, I wouldn't pay that for any of them. I thought they were all average at best, and even some of the ones that went on and
I could
on
not
and on.
believe the
The
Brady ad.
messaging, it was
Tom
terrible.
Brady and
Snoop
like
Dogg.
Snoop Dogg acting like they hate each other. I mean, truly, that was just a waste of. Did that cost $1 million?
We love, not hate, for the
I,
record.
I don't
We
understand
love-
it. Overrated the Dunkin' Donuts, Ben Affleck scenario.
Yeah.
The halftime show was not my favorite. I think because they were in New Orleans, for me, they could have brought in the whole New Orleans vibe into the halftime show.
The culture
Just
should have been
the culture
represented, for
and
sure.
what it is. And that's what it should have been. But it's made for TV. And I don't know. It's exciting. And we'll see what happens next year. Season's over. Monday morning quarterbacks are talking. And
Well, that being said, Dee, we've got a top 5 that you're responsible for.
coming in at number 5, only God knows. The Church of England says no to gluten-free wafers and non-alcoholic wine. Is it staying pure to your beliefs or keeping people with intolerances out?
I'm actually really surprised by this move. Applaud them for sticking with their guns and being pure to what their what their historical way of being is. But I do think for somebody who's got a GF intolerant person, that he'd be upset by that.
I
But
wouldn't mind if there was another Eucharistic minister that had its own line for people that needed no alcohol and a gluten-free wafer.
yeah, I'm surprised by this move. But
Seems like it would be easy.
I applaud them for sticking to their beliefs.
I don't know. I feel like you need to have the way that people's dietary restrictions are right now. You almost need a gluten-free area. You don't necessarily have to have a non-alcoholic wine, but at least the host, the body of Christ, if you can offer it to everybody, if someone can't have that body of Christ, that host, because they are gluten-free, you need that option because it has to be inclusive. It's the church.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't
No,
think
well, the church does not have to be inclusive, for the record.
Oh, well, yeah, we know that.
They do not. So, theoretically, I agree with you, but practically, that's not how they operate.
Oh, totally. Well, number 4. This one. Hell man, no. Harry Met Sally, too much for mayo and sex references. Get a room already. I mean, seriously, in the commercials like we were just talking about previously, mayonnaise is the grossest thing out there. I would eat any organ of any animal before I ate a spoon of mayo.
Ooh, that sounds like a challenge. I like this.
I will not. You could pay me $1 million.
get enough mayo.
No. And who
an
needs
egg
to
salad
see that?
sandwich? I like dream of it, and I just can't get enough of my mayo in tuna and things.
We found Darian's kryptonite.
That is so my kryptonite. Supermom.
She did a good job though of bringing back Sleepless in Seattle.
It's when Harry Met Sally.
I keep doing it. Damn it! This is me again.
And just for our listening audience, I prepped her.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? That's
She
just
wants
me.
it to be Sleepless in
Well,
Seattle.
I like Sleepless in
It was
Seattle.
probably one of her
Harry
favorite
Met Sally,
movies.
Yeah, she absolutely. This is what my brain does. This was me when we were talking about the Beatles, and I went right to Paul McCartney. It's all right.
Yeah, but you had it
close.
right.
You know what? I've
You
got
were
the same
close.
people.
Genre, always.
I'm in the right genre.
Oh, you were good.
I have to
Okay.
say, I feel like it was lost on a lot of people. My husband, which doesn't shock me because he's like
He
the
never saw the
worst
movie.
and all of this. But I just wonder, there's probably
A lot of
more than
kids.
half the population that had zero idea what that was.
Yeah,
Like,
Abby Boyle.
it wasn't fun. It wasn't funny at all. It was awkward and weird. And that's where I always think these references that go back, movie's got to be what, 25 years old?
Yeah.
Like,
It's a classic, but how's the young
but if you didn't
viewers?
see it, you
The
have no
millennials, you're
idea.
like,
What happened?
I just love the commercials. I feel like it's the other side of entertainment.
It's another Marvel movie. I mean, seriously, what I can say is like, can they come up with anything original? That's what I really want to say. Because between the commercials and the reboots and the movies that are like redone, I really am excited for Hollywood to give me something new.
Yes.
All right. Well, number 3, mom sharing coconuts. I'm saying mom sharing cocoa nuts. How old is too old and cringy for you to be in the tub with your 2, 6, and 8-year-old kids?
We'll share a picture of that with Chrissy Teigen and her brood. Her
That's
naked brood.
disturbing. That's disturbing.
She's still breastfeeding probably her son, her 8-year-old son.
You say, come on, walk
Maybe even in
over.
the bathtub.
I just don't understand. It's really interesting
TMI.
to me where, for real, when is too old to be getting in the tub with your children? I mean, 8 years old. I mean, that more than questionable.
I mean, same sex maybe ish, but I don't know. If you want to do that, then maybe keep it behind closed doors and don't post it so that People Magazine runs with the story. It's like, what the heck?
That's what I say. Keep it quiet. Keep it under the water.
Keep it
Keep
under
it under
wraps,
the water.
please. We don't need to see any more of Chrissy Teigen.
What's under the water is you've got your two 8 and 6-year-old, right? They're probably peeing in the water. So let's talk about that.
Next, number 2, not like us. AHA adds Kendrick Lamar to CPR. With this, I think I need CPR. My favorite CPR is Chase for Life video.
Staying alive. The Kendrick Lamar lyrics alone, shame on you. I understand that you might want to kind of highlight CPR with that demographic that listens to it, but pick a song that isn't using expletives and talking about pedophiles. Seriously, they're sending the wrong message. I don't know that they're saving any lives here.
I don't even understand Kendrick Lamar at all. I tried to. We talked about him in an earlier episode, and I really did try to embrace it because he was the Pulitzer Prize winner for rap, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be open. I closed that door a while ago, and he's not like us. He's not like me, and I'm good with that.
And so it's like,
yeah, but maybe it's teaching the adults too, and that's kind of if it's out there and it helps save the life, then we're good. Moving on.
It must be lyric free.
Exactly.
Just the beat.
Number 1 is Elon Musk, our next bulldozer.
Oh yeah, he is.
1,000% he is. And people are pissed off and saying, hey, I didn't elect Musk. But I'll tell you, somebody that is worth $378 billion, I would have to say he knows how to, raise capital and maybe how to shave some unnecessary costs off. And that seems to be what his job is.
I think it'll be interesting because although I agree with that fundamentally, government is not business, and that's been proven time over time again. And they can't just go in and destroy these agencies because they were enacted with a congressional movement. So, the president doesn't have the ability, nor does Elon Musk really have the ability to just axe these programs. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. Do I think there's government waste? Absolutely. Do I think there's redundancies? 1,000%. Do I think there's people on the take? 1,000,000%. But what I don't want to see is have good programs lose, the funding in certain areas that do good in places where they don't get any other help. So
I agree with that. But USAID got to really look at that. There's smoke, there's fire. So if he's claiming that the money isn't going to impoverished nations and famine and just to take care of areas that need extra support, and money is being kind of channeled where it's MIA and it's Chelsea Clinton's, maybe her house or her wedding. These are things that they're talking about. And I don't know. I just don't think that he would be so brazen to tweet these things if there wasn't some truth to it. Politico funding all of the anti-Trump campaigns. Let's see where the paper trail really goes.
No, I don't think, and that's, I don't think either one of the president or Musk are afraid about what they tweet or what they say, whether it's truth or fiction. They don't care about that. They'll care about it just to get you to pay attention, and we'll see where it leads.
Well, I said they again, like rhinos. Anything they hear or say, they don't care. For them, the proof is in the pudding. Show us numbers and show us facts, then we'll listen. But right now, you're kind of like
everything that you hear, read.
Yeah,
sure. Do your own due diligence.
Yes,
and, try to
at all times.
Because if you just took pure headlines for face value, this would be even a scarier place.
Yeah,
and a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So
and again, back to what we've said a million times is watch where you source your news and try and get the other side of it. Instagram is not the news. X is not the news. And even some of the major news
TikTok
outlets,
is not the news.
Wait, Instagram is not news? That's how I find out all my news.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. Facebook. I don't watch news.
No. Well, this week we're all about love. So we love the top 5, and we love bringing that segment to you. But we're going to continue on this afternoon with our discussion about where is love in what does it mean to each of us? And is love really truly blind sometimes?
It has to be actually. You go through stages and phases of being so in love and then loving, but not being as in love. I think it's very natural and normal to kind of go through phases and stages.
Well, love is what
Love
kind of
has to be blind because you love through sickness and health and goodness and it's bad and so yeah.
how do you find that perfect soulmate? And that's the thing. I feel like with me, I found my soulmate, and I was talking Tina, who's my masseuse, and for years we'd kind of say, "All right, well, I need to find a man," and my list of things. I mean, I was traveling and doing whatever I was doing on my little balloon ride. I never quite thought of, I got to find a man, I got to get married, I got to have kids and move on. Well, all of a sudden I said, I want a guy and I want him to be this way. And I want him to ski and wear black ties, but be cool and love my family. And I want him to surf and I want him to ski. And well, all of a sudden I manifested it. And then I found Jeff and almost felt like I was in a Disney movie because I don't think everyone is as lucky to find their soulmate. I look at my brother and sister-in-law, Shane and Alexandra. They found each other and they're soulmates. And you got to look for it and you got to be open for it. And I think you have to manifest true love is
What are you
what
saying?
I believe.
Are you saying that your sister-in-law and your brother over here aren't soulmates?
You guys are soulmates.
That wasn't the reference you made for the record.
Yes.
You went someplace else.
Hello.
Well, I
I'll tell
wanted
you
you
right
to
now.
tell your story because
We're the
hello.
longest standing Boyle couple in the familia. I will say that. We're celebrating our 25th on March 10th, and we dated for 4.5 years before that. So, and it hasn't always been perfect, but it's been a lot of fun. And we've grown in the good times and the bad times. And we have like a love that you can't really define. It's like we knew that we were supposed to be together and we make sense and we have a lot of the same interests. And I think our love language is being outdoorsy and being athletic and raising kids that are athletic. And that truly is what brings us joy together, to be together, doing something physical and enjoying it as a family. And that's probably what Pat and that's how we got our start, was trying to keep up with like the Boyles, doing everything. I wanted to surf. I wanted to skateboard. I wanted to ride motorcycles. I wanted to ski. And I think he liked the fact that I might not have been the best at all of those things, but I was all in. And I think that that's where the attraction, it was more like primate, chest beat, like you go with me, I go with you.
You kidding? That's what, as soon as I met you, I said, or as soon as I met you, I said, "Oh, you're going to marry my brother," and you're like, "What?"
Yeah, you called it.
Yeah,
Crazy.
You manifested that too.
You
Dave.
did manifest that.
that's what I mean. It's and all these people, you're so lucky to have it. I mean, my brother Bruce and Lizzie, that you see people come together, and sometimes opposites do attract, and you can never give up. Because I met Jeff when I was older, and you can never give up on love, and you can never give up on finding true love.
Hit eject when there's a problem. That's the problem, and I do think that's one of the beautiful things about a potential divorce. They make it hard. They make it very hard for you to just hit eject and walk away from a problem. You need it. Sometimes you have to really figure it out and work it out, and recognize that maybe you're not supposed to just walk away from something. And that's why some rules keep things from happening so easily. I think a lot of troubles that people have in their marriages, if you can get through that, your love for each other is even stronger. Your union is even more powerful because you have to go through adversity sometimes to get to the next level. And I do believe that throwing in the towel and walking away from a fight is lame. And sometimes you
so many people give up.
Yes,
they all give up.
Well,
yeah,
easier.
It's too easy. Think of the divorce. You're like, wait, you have kids. You have to try. You have to give it a college try because every day it's not sheer bliss and it's problems. That's life. Life is never perfect, but you got to stick it out. And people get divorced because they have to. And I feel like sometimes people get divorced a little too early or maybe a little too late.
Well, and that's I think that's the challenge. Is you see plenty of people where they stick it out for the right reasons, right? And they're trying to make things work for a really long time. And but what if you only have one life? Like, what point do you say sayonara? And I don't know, because I've been with my husband since 1989, where we met. So we're pushing on 35 years together of dating and knowing each other, and married less than that, 7 years less than that. But it's still a lot of
Impressive.
work, and it's not easy. And I think it's interesting as you get older to recognize that there are people who like organically grew up together, like myself and my husband. So we have a different set of understanding and rules. And I didn't really think about my metrics of what I wanted in a spouse. It was like he fit the bill at that time. And that taxi cab mentality that people will have about you're ready for something, your lights on, and until then you're not. I think there's a lot of truth to that too. But what I want to talk about, and what I'd love for you guys to weigh in on, is like, what is your love language, right? They talk about like the 5 areas of like love language, and I recognize that this one is probably my biggest one, which is like the acts of service, like what the person will do for you, like taking care of you, making sure your needs are met, the physical, like environmental stuff. And then the second one is like, a gifting. Like, do they bring you flowers? Do they bring you like signs of their undying, unrequited love? The next one is quality time. Are you a priority for the time that you spend together? Like, do you do a lot of things outside the house, inside the house together? Go shopping. My husband and I never go shopping. We never do some certain things together that I like laugh when my friends do with their
Oh my God,
spouses.
never.
Never.
all the time.
Affirmations, like how much do they tell
Hefe
you?
definitely would go shopping with you and
Oh my
pick out an
God.
outfit for you and be so psyched because he loves that. I mean,
He probably picks out your ski gear.
He buys me ski outfits. Mother's Day, he and Dee Dee go to the B. That's in Seagirt, one of my favorite stores out there, and goes to the B, and all the girls, he finds his shopper, and they bring
He
outfits.
has a shopper.
Yes, and they try on outfits, and when we were dating, he would send me outfits from Net-a-Porter in the city, and said, "I'm coming, pick you up for dinner." I mean, he loves shopping. He loves picking out my outfits, buying flowers. He's the best gift giver ever. If you ever want to go find a good present for someone, it's what he does. And
it's like everything that, somebody that would leave flower petals, like a trickle to your room or whatever. I mean, no, not that. That is not my guy. And I guess it must not be important for me. It must not be my love language,
Right.
because I don't need a ton of attention. I don't need to be fawned over and gifts brought to me. But he does a lot of things right that I guess work for me. I feel comfortable and safe. I feel taken care of. He's got an incredible work ethic. I know that no matter what, our family will be taken care of. What It doesn't matter what could happen. I feel like if I'm in his foxhole, I'm safe. And so I think safety must be my love language. And knowing that somebody has like just significant work ethic, that they will never need a push or a prod to continue moving forward. That to me is very attractive.
So the last one, physical touch, is not. How would that rate? Right?
Physical touch works, except for he sweats on command if there's spooning involved. It's amazing how in the beginning things like that are much more snuggly, but then as you settle into 29 years, your body starts to just sweat on command.
Yeah,
next to each other.
Then you have the eye patch, the mouth guard.
You got a lot of.
I think it's so not sexy, but I think you need someone who makes you a better person. For those that are listening who haven't found that soulmate or that person that you want to be with or spend time with, like, don't rush it. Try to send it out there, because you want someone who's going to come in and just make you feel good about yourself and make you feel smarter and stronger and have your back and make you a better person.
You have to
and once
like
you
yourself
find that
too before you can you can attract somebody. If you self-loathe, if you don't like yourself, if you're not confident on some level, then you're not going to attract what you want to attract. Sometimes people go from one relationship to the next to the next. I feel like you have to give yourself time and be comfortable in your own skin and really like yourself. And then all of a sudden you're going to attract that type of energy. So many people just go from one, relationship to the next without really working on themselves. And then it's a bad repeat of the same scenario over and over.
But it's hard right now for this generation is, how do you meet people? You have dating apps. Are you going to meet someone through a friend? Are you going to meet someone through, like, go join a biking group or triathlon group or a swim team or something? First of all, the younger generation, they don't even know how to talk to each other. It's texting. But we had it easier, although I met Jeff through a friend of mine, because you would go out and it was more, hey, would you like to go out on a date? I mean, do they even do that anymore? Your girls? Do they get asked out on dates? And your boys? Like, do the boys ask
Well, Jack, my
girls?
oldest has now had a friend that been has known for over a year that he is now like dated. So I think it is coming back, but a little bit older. I don't know. My niece gave me the situationship that happens a lot in college, which is like you're not really in a relationship, but anytime you really are liking somebody, then you'll just always kind of gravitate toward hanging out with that person. And I think inherently that means also hooking up. But the dating way of being with my boys, I've noticed with all of them, from my youngest being 15 up into 25, is not standard, making a phone call and asking somebody out. Like that doesn't happen to the extent it used to.
Same with my girls.
In my view.
Kenzie dated somebody for 3.5 years in college, and they actually would go on dates. But it started out with talking to each other, and then they kind of became a thing. And it's almost like you hook up in the beginning before you actually end up dating, which is backwards to me. The dating apps, though, I do have to say, I understand why people are hesitant initially to go on it, because you feel like you're so exposed. You're putting yourself out on this platform, and some people just kind of think that it's cheesy or they feel degraded. But I feel like for a certain age, if you don't have the time to be strategically in places where you're going to meet quality people, I do like the fact that you can really put down exactly what you like and what you don't like. I want somebody that's athletic. I want somebody that likes kids. I like somebody that, has pets and wants to be outdoors and knows how to swim. I mean, put it all out there. Put out exactly what you like and what you want. And you hope that the person is relatively honest. And then
When they show the photo when they're like 25, meanwhile they're like 50 and crusty.
Like a
with the photos.
non-smoker, like I don't want somebody that vapes. I don't like anybody that does drugs. The fact that you can kind of put some of these things out there right out of the gates to me is helpful.
Well, I have a handful of friends that actually met their husbands. Match.com, it was the one that everyone used when it first started. Now you can swipe for booty no matter where you go. That would never be my jam, but I have friends that are out there and they're on dating apps, and that's how they're meeting people because they're busy, they're working. They're not going to go to a bar and hustle.
Well, it's math. Like that part of it's math. Like you're never going to go out with somebody who doesn't like, you don't like to go to music or concert. Like you would be off my list. Like,
oh yeah,
easy vetting service. But to your point about not knowing what somebody's picture really looks like
love is blind.
You got to know that half of the stuff is fake. Half of this stuff is they're going to say the glass is half full, not glass is half empty.
It's interesting, though.
But they do say you need to keep your guard up. What I think is really interesting is you'll see people that are dating people online for years and have a crazy like love relationship with them, and they've never physically met them. Like,
yeah,
to me,
we know that one far.
Wow,
crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, doesn't that happen in jails a lot too?
I feel like it does.
Always have,
love after lockup,
and they get married, and it's like bizarro.
Or you rekindle with the person who you made out with in high school, and then you meet them.
Like that's what Facebook is
that
like.
That are now in jail. No, I'm out. Thanks. I'm good.
Yeah.
I also
that wouldn't be on my list.
I think it would be very hard to like be in a community and, to be somebody that gets a divorce. And now suddenly, you're looking at other divorcees or single people where people have history in the community. So I also like that there's parameters on dating apps where you could say, okay, I want to meet somebody within like this mileage, this distance between this town and that town. Kind of helps, things on some level too. And Raya, I think it's intriguing that it is this dating app that you actually apply for, and people have to write letters on your behalf, letters of recommendation. And it's for a little bit more of like, let's say a higher end crowd, or they're vetted by whoever. So it makes it a little more exclusive, and you feel like you're running around with a different, crew that's a little more upper tier, but you can't get in. It's so funny. Mackenzie is trying to get on Raya just for fun. and she can't get in yet. Chase is already on Raya. And like, she's like, how does this happen, Mom? Like, the hell? So it's funny because who gets vetted over who, and what politics exist even in dating apps.
Well, you can pick what you want. I know there was Jade 8. I don't even know if that's still there. Remember, did you know that one? My friend actually met her husband on Jade 8, and it was amazing. It's for anyone who's Jewish, and literally they got married. But then I have other
Christian apps
friends
are very successful. I know that there's
right,
a
and
lot
that's
of
you
Christian
kind of
dating
figure out what's important to you, and you can find it. Do you want to just date, booty call, or would you like relationship style? Are you looking for that person to spend the rest of your life with? And that's what you can do now. You can pick and choose what you want. You want a billionaire? It's
Pauper.
kind of
No.
crazy out there. Yeah, but it's crazy.
Tinder, isn't Tinder more
Oh,
like a
Tinder.
hookup app?
That's
Tinder's.
that's the
I don't even know if
swiper.
these exist anymore.
Yeah.
Honestly, we're the worst people to be talking about dating
Yeah,
apps
we
because
shouldn't
I've
be.
never been on it. I've never like used one, but I'm a big fan of like trying to compel my friends that are single that don't have time because they're in the grind with work and kids, and like they're not going to weddings, where that's like one of the number one places to meet a guy.
Right.
And I think like the other place that I just read about was in the fruit section of the grocery store. Isn't that interesting?
While you're picking out your cantaloupes or your cucumbers.
Oh, my friend would borrow
dry cleaners. I mean, it used to be a laundromat, but like I don't think
Yeah.
I wanted to meet
No.
my guy in a laundromat.
How about when my friend would come borrow my puppy, and as it got older, would take my dog to the park in New York City. Oh, this is my
being
puppy.
somebody outdoors and
That's
doing
being
something
a
like
little
that,
bit,
yes.
like at least
Yeah.
you're trying to find the right person. They gotta like dogs, so you put in a little bit of a variable metric. If like
Right.
he walks past you and doesn't think your dog's cute, then you're out.
Well, you see some hottie with like this cute little puppy, you're like, oh my, and they're snuggling it in the park.
Okay, so what's your idea of a perfect Valentine's Day? Here we are, old married biddies. Like, what would be your perfect Valentine's Day with your man?
Jen?
You go first, Dave.
Okay. Well, so for Valentine's Day, Jeff's birthday is on the 15th. So Valentine's Day and birthday, it's always two different events, but when he me would always celebrate his birthday and Valentine's Day together. I like to do both. For us, it would be to basically get up, have breakfast with Dee, and then she goes to school and we go skiing. And this year it's actually on a Friday, tomorrow. And we're going to go to Après with a bunch of people after skiing. And then Dee Dee has a babysitter and just going to be with a ton of our friends. And it's going to be the whole weekend, basically, of skiing and celebrating Jeff's birthday. And like for us, it's about Dee Dee. I always get her presents and I get him too. And of course, he always gets my mom flowers, which is great. You have to take care of my mom. She'll be up in Vermont. So it's just being together, doing whatever we can, and some presents here and there and some fun. So how about you?
Well, I think my perfect Valentine's Day would be to wake up, nice cup of coffee, relax, and just chill for a little bit, get my morning going, and then get the kids off, get little Nader off to school, and John will go to work. And then I'd have a nice lunch with my friends because the girls are really important. They're a huge part of my loves during the day. So I'd like a Valentine's Day lunch.
Okay, done.
That we
You
need
wanna
to
go
have
lunch?
happen. Yes.
Okay, done.
perfect.
Oh, I'm jealous. I
Just
want to be there.
manifested that. Nice little lunch to get it going. And then I would very much like to meet up with some friends for a nice happy hour and then have a nice dinner at home with my husband. He likes to make dinner. He likes to cook for me. So nice little dinner at home, maybe a little hot tub, maybe a little Valentine's
Chicka
Day
bow
action,
bow.
little action. And that's a good night. That's a good night.
So I got proposed to on Valentine's Day. So it is our anniversary of him proposing to me, which was very unexpected when it happened. Not cliche at all. And we used to go to dinner with friends of ours for every Valentine's Day. Just the two couples, we would just celebrate it together because as much as both of them would say, oh, it's a Hallmark holiday, it was a special day. And so I always enjoy going to dinner and having somebody be thoughtful enough to make a plan and a reservation. To me, that I don't need, gifts. I do appreciate a card. It could even be a homemade card. To me, those are very meaningful. I like, when somebody puts the power to the pen and, they say some nice things that you don't hear all the time. You don't see in writing all the time. And I always get flowers. I mean, that's something that is just, I love flowers. And he knows that I like to arrange my own flowers. So they always come in a big, long box and I cut them and make them into the arrangement that I like. So to me, that's pretty perfect. And I like to be with friends too. So I think we'll all have sounds like a fabulous Valentine's Day.
I'm loving Pat's sensitive side. Nice work, bro.
He definitely has a side to him. Like he revealed it early on. So I know it's there. I also know that he's handier than he appears to be. So I have to say that my love language is also when somebody kind of is willing to do some of the things that they just take for granted that we do all the time. If I have a giant laundry basket that's 100,000 pounds that I have to drag up the stairs from the basement, if he does little things without me having to ask, I actually really find that to be attractive too. If you're handy and you do something instead of immediately calling in somebody to fix the problem, take out your tool belt. That works on me. Then I'll show you some of my tools.
Hey now. Well, ladies, I love
service is what it's called. Let's see how that goes for you on Valentine's Day tomorrow, Far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, ladies, I love talking about love with you and having a little pre-Valentine's Day with my girls. Wish I could be there for your lunch tomorrow. But let's kick it off to who is our Got Grit winner of this week?
I just have to say, looking at you visually, it looks like you're like Betty Boop, and it looks like your heart is like perfect little bustier for your boobs. And now I see the whole thing. But when you're sitting there, it's like a little corseted, sexy black. Yeah. Shake those knockers. They look like big knockers.
Oh, yeah, that would be the day. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so our Got Grit person of the week. And once again, this is a tragic situation that has been turned into something positive. But Ryan Quigley is actually Tiger Beck, the former Princeton football player that was killed by the ridiculous scumbag terrorist in New Orleans. And Ryan Quigley and Tiger Beck were best friends, soulmates, did everything together, roommates, lived off campus together when they graduated, worked at the same shop in the city. They were in New Orleans together having a time. And all of a sudden, life comes to an end for Tiger. And Ryan really got jacked up, too. You look at pictures of this beautiful face. He's so cute. And he suffered on his face, and he's got a debilitating situation with his leg. He's in a wheelchair. Last place on earth that he ever would want to return to is New Orleans. But he and Tiger made a pact that if the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, that they were going. And he did not want to let Tiger down by reneging on his vow that they were going to go. So the Eagles found out about this story and gifted Tiger's whole family and Quigley's family tickets to go to the game. And it took a lot of courage for him to return to New Orleans, which to him is a place of sadness. It's probably the worst memory of his life. And he ended up going to the Super Bowl to make good on his word. And the Eagles gave him a shirt that had Beck's last name on it. His number was 7. 7 is a heavenly number. So I feel like Ryan Quigley deserves the Got Grit maker of the week because he returned to a place. He kept his word on behalf of his boy, and he's really spotlighting a story that is heartfelt in a really crappy set of circumstances. And I think the Eagles really did the right move on behalf of both families. They made, the last wishes come true.
And that, I think, is one of the best grit makers that we could have picked. Great job, Far.
Yeah, and I'm hoping on this day before Valentine's Day and a day of love that we can get to a place where these kind of situations and these acts of terrorism and these losses of life start to become less and less. Let's just pray for that on a beautiful way to make the world a little bit kinder and sweeter and loving to one another, because as much as this story is amazing, it's just enough is enough with the acts of violence. So let's pray for that love tomorrow and every day.
Yes, and let's pump it up. All right, ladies, this one I think you're going to get. So I'm throwing you easy ones. When I hear it, it makes you just want to just go crazy. And we've gone crazy, the three of us, when we hear it. And
Prince,
it's almost
let's go crazy.
Let's get nuts.
Nope. I was going to say what I wanted to say. I didn't want to give it up, what I wanted to say, but I'm just going to, I'm going to read the lyrics and see if you get it. And I won't sing it lyric because that's all I want to do is kind of sing it lyrics because that's how you do it. But pack it up, pack it in. Let me begin. I came to win. Battle me. Well, that's a sin. I won't ever slack up, punk. Y'all better back up. Try and play the role, and yo, the whole crew will act up. So you gotta get up, stand up. Come on, ladies, throw your hands up. If you got the feeling, jump up towards the ceiling.
Battle me, that's a sin. Whole crew locked up. Come on.
Jump around.
Boom.
Jump around.
Jump up and
Jump
get
it
down.
Jump.
Jump, jump.
How many
Whoop, whoop.
times have
I knew
we
it in the first three
danced
songs.
to that song?
I kept trying to say, you want to jump up, but I didn't want to say it. I would give it away.
Oh God, it's such a good
It's a
song.
good song.
I mean, it just makes you jump. Makes the whole room like a jump. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's
it's
gonna be
great.
good on our list. We're
I
giving
love
a
that.
lot of good variety
Yeah.
on our Spotify list. That's for sure.
Ladies, I loved celebrating pre-Valentine's Day with you. I see hearts, I see love across the way.
Yeah.
And thank you to everyone for listening to Girls Gone Gritty. We love when you tune in. We always bring you something fun and special and make your mind kind of go, what's coming up next? Give a big giant hug to your loved ones. If you're looking for love, get your girlfriends, go on a night out, and you get to perv all the people on dates, and have a great Valentine's Day.
Make a homemade card, even for your kids, like do something
Yeah.
homemade, something that just shows that you put a little effort and love into it, because that's all we all want.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks
Love is
for
all you
listening.
need.
Love is all you need. Peace out.
Out.